Hello students. So in the previous classes we have studied about solute, solvent and how solute and solvent when they mixes together then they form solution. As well as we have studied the saturated, unsaturated and supersaturated solution. We studied that how can we prepare the unsaturated and that of the saturated solution. Then we come to the next one, that is the solution, and we study that what are the different properties of solution, which includes that size of the particle which is less than 1 nanometer, while that of the solution is a homogeneous mixture, and due to the very small size it cannot be seen with the help of a microscope, as well as the particle of the solution is very small in size, due to which it pass through the filter paper very easily. We studied that a true solution, it does not scatter light. Now solution is what that when a solid it dissolve in a solvent, then it forms solution, and the solute particles they mixes evenly with that of the solvent particle. Okay, now we will study the different types of the solution. So we usually think the solution are formed when a solid substance are dissolved in liquid. But there are most of the common solution which are made by that of dissolving solid in liquid. But even then also there are solution which can be made by dissolving solid in solid, solid in liquid, solid in solid, solid in liquid, liquid in liquid, gaseous in liquid, or gaseous in gas. Okay, so solution can be made by all these combinations. But remember, if the mixture is homogeneous, then we apply the term that is solution, because the property of the solution that is it is homogeneous in nature. So let us start with the different types of the solution. So when we talk about the first one, you can see here the first one is solution of a gas in a gas. So air is a solution of a gases like that of the oxygen or argon, carbon dioxide, water vapor, nitrogen gas. So you see all these things are present in that of the air. You see here the nitrogen you can expect, because the percentage of the nitrogen in air is more, so nitrogen is a kind of a solvent in the air, where other all gases are the solute. So here you can see that the air is a solution of a gases which consisting of oxygen, which consisting of the argon, which consisting of a different types of gases in it. And by looking at the air you cannot distinguish between the different types of a gases present in it. Okay, so this is what a solution of a gas in a gas. Here one more thing is there, that the oxygen with that of the acetylene gas, when they both of them combine together, that will help in the process of the welding, or it is used in the welding purpose. So this is the two type of examples by which we can explain that solution is not only with the solid in the liquid, but here the gases, they themselves act as a solvent, and the other gases which is present or which is mixed up with that particular gas, they act as a solute. So the solution which having a solvent as a gas as well as a solute as a gas. So solution of a gas in gas. Now solution of a gas in a liquid. Oxygen in a water. You know that the aquatic animal and aquatic plant, they take their oxygen from the they take the dissolved form of oxygen from the water. So basically they respire due to the presence of oxygen which is present in the water itself. So oxygen, what does that indicate? That oxygen can dissolve in that of the water. So oxygen is the gas and water is a liquid. So this gas act as a solute which is present in the solvent, that is a liquid. Not only this, you see, after respiration, carbon dioxide is released by the aquatic animals and used up by the aquatic plant. So carbon dioxide also a gas in a liquid. Then we will see the carbonated ring. You see soda water. So soda water, you can see here, soda water or Coca-Cola or the cold drinks. These are what? It is a solution of a bottle which consisting of a gas in it. You see, when you open it and pour it in a glass, then you will see the bubbles start coming out from this cold drink, from this soda water. So why is it so? It is basically due to a gas present in it, and that gas is actually carbon dioxide gas. Okay, so it is a gas which is in the liquid type of a solution. So these are the two things which explain about the solution of a gas in a liquid. Okay. Now we will see solution of a gas in a solid. So this is a solid, and you see when a hydrogen gas is absorbed by this of the metal or this of the solid metal, then it is we can say that is a solution which is of a gas in a liquid. You can see here the hydrogen gas, it is absorbed or it is present with this red, the red color is showing the hydrogen particle which is attached with that of the metal, forming a metal hydride. So this is a solution of a gas in a solid. So right now we have studied that a gas in a liquid, a solution in which gas is acting as a solute and the liquid is a solvent. So gas is dissolved in a liquid. Here it is just opposite, in which liquid is acting as a solute in the gas which is acting as a solvent. So we can say that this liquid is present in a more amount while that of the gas is present in a liquid is present in a less amount while that of the gas. So you can see here liquid which is present in a small amount, so it is a solute, while the gas which is present in a large amount, so it is a solvent, and that's why we are using the term liquid in a gas, solute in a solvent. See here, mist or fog or clouds. So here we will take another case, and in this case we are taking a solution of a liquid in a liquid. What does that mean? Liquid in a liquid, it means we are taking solute liquid as well as the solvent is also in a liquid state. Okay, so a liquid, one substance which are we taking in a very less amount, that we will consider, that particular liquid we will consider as a solute, and that solute liquid we will add to the another substance which is greater in quantity, which is greater in amount, and in which the first liquid is to be dissolved, that is a solvent. So one liquid solute get dissolved in the liquid solvent is the solution of a liquid in a liquid. Now see here, alcohol in water. If suppose you add amount of alcohol, a certain amount of alcohol in water, then this alcohol will properly get dissolved in that of the water. So here the amount of alcohol which we are using is in a less amount, and that's why we are considering this alcohol as a liquid. Now you can see here this alcohol get easily mixed with the water, or when you mix this alcohol in the water, it will form a homogeneous mixture, and that's why we are considering it in a solution. Okay, so this is the solution in which liquid alcohol we had taken, and we are dissolving this liquid alcohol in the water, which is also in a liquid state. Now milk. So you see here milk, it consisting of what? If we mix the milk in the water also. Okay, so if we consider the milk in a water, then milk is a liquid and water is also a liquid. So if we add that milk in the water, we are not able to distinguish the boundary between these two substances. Means that mixture is a kind of a homogeneous mixture, and that's why this will also come in the solution of a liquid in a liquid. Okay, you can take an example of a vinegar also. If you are adding vinegar in that of the water, even that kind of a solution is also a type of a liquid in a liquid solution. Then we will see next one, and that is liquid in a solid. So if suppose you are taking liquid as a solute in a small amount, and you are dissolving that liquid in a solvent, that is a solid. So basically mercury in a silver. So mercury is what? It is at room temperature, it is at a liquid state, and when we mix this mercury in the silver, which is at solid state, then that kind of a solution is a liquid in a solid state. Butter or a cheese, these all are the example in which a liquid substance is added in that of the solid substance. Now we had discussed about the solution of a gas in a gas, gas in a liquid, liquid in a gas, liquid in a liquid, liquid in a solid. Now we will start with the, while taking that of the solid as a solute and gas as a solvent. So you see here, when this solid as a solute mixes with the gas which is in a greater amount, that kind of a solution is a solid in a gas solution. Okay, best example is the dust particle. Okay, dust particle or the smoke, you know, the smoke and that of the fog is when they mix together, then they form a smog. So the smoke which is present in the air. So smoke is what? It is the dust particle which is present, which is get mixed up with that of the gases, with that of the air. Okay, so that kind of a solution is basically known as a solid in a gas solution. Okay, here the dust particle, dust particle is in a very small amount, and the gas, we can say smoke. So gas is the smoke which is in a greater amount. Okay, so the dust particle which is present in that of the smoke is forming the solution of a solid in a gas. Now solid in a liquid. So this is the most common type of a solution that you all know, like that of the sugar solution. Here you see we are taking, when we are studying about the solution, we were discussing that a solid is a solute particle and the liquid is the solvent particle in which this solute particle will get dissolved. So this is the very common type of a solution, like sugar in a water or salt solution. Okay, so you see the sugar or the salt, they are solid and they get dissolved in the water, that is a liquid, so it is a solid in a liquid. There are other example also, like that of the jellies or paint. Okay, so we take dyes and we mixed up with that, forming a paint, okay, giving a color to it. So these are the example of a solid in a liquid. One another example is there of that of the solid in a liquid is tincture of iodine. If you're not able to see, let me write it here very properly. Tincture of iodine. So this is also an example of a solution of a solid in a liquid. Basically this tincture of iodine is asked many times. What is this tincture of iodine or a iodine tincture? A solution of a iodine in alcohol. Okay, iodine in alcohol forms the tincture of iodine. So most of the time this question is asked that what is tincture of iodine, then you will write that solution of iodine in alcohol. Okay, so this is the tincture of iodine. So you see here the iodine is what? It is a solid substance. So it is a solid solute which get dissolved in the liquid alcohol. So this will comes in the solution of a solid in liquid. Now we will come to the next one, that is the last one, that the solution of a solid in a solid. Okay, so when the solid is that of the solute as well as when the solid is that of the solvent also, that solution is a solid in solid. So the best examples are the metal alloys. So what happened in the metal alloy? One or two or more metal or two or more non-metal or metal or a non-metal. We have studied about the metal and non-metal in this same chapter. Okay, so when two or more metal or non-metal, or when two or more non-metal, when they combine together, they form alloys like brass. Brass is what? It is an alloy of a zinc in copper. Okay. So brass, it is an alloy of a zinc in copper. So zinc is what? It is a solid. Copper is a solid. So brass is formed by mixing two different type of a solid, two different types of a metal together to form a new metal alloy. Okay. Pearl or a carbon in a iron steel. So carbon is what? Is the non-metal. Iron is what? It is a metal. So when this non-metal mixes with the metal, then there is a formation of a steel, or you all are knowing steel. Okay, so carbon, when it is mixed with that of the iron, it will form steel. Okay, so this is a type of a solution in which solid as well is a solute, as well as solid itself is a liquid. Okay. So right now we had completed the different properties as well as the different type of solution. Now we will come to the next one, and that is suspension. So we have studied that there are substances which is soluble in the water, and since it is dissolved properly in that of the solvent, thus it forms a true solution. But you know that there are some substances also which are insoluble in water, and that substance which is insoluble in water, they form a type of a substance, and that is a type of a mixture, and that is known as a suspension. Okay, so we can say that if it is not mixed up together, if we are mixing two substances together and they are insoluble, so we can say that that particular mixture is what? It is a heterogeneous mixture, because when you mix together, you can see the separation boundary is very visible to us. Okay, so suspension is a heterogeneous mixture in which the small particle of a solid, they are spread throughout the liquid without dissolving in it. So suspension is a heterogeneous mixture of a two or more substances which is insoluble in the, or which remain undissolved in that liquid. Very good example is the chalk and water mixture. If suppose you take a chalk and you break the chalk, or you convert it into the chalk particles, and if you try to see that whether this chalk can easily dissolve in the water, then you find that it remains suspended in the water, but it will never get dissolved in the water. So by the naked eyes only, you are able to see the different chalk particles in the water itself, and this type of a mixture is known as a suspension. Very good example is of muddy water. If you take a small amount of a muddy water and keep it in the fresh water, in the pure water, then you will find that the mud particles, they remain suspended, or some of them they get settled down at the bottom. Okay, sand particle, they are suspended in the water, or flour. That flour is also, when you mix it in the water, that will also not get dissolved but remain suspended. So these are some of the example, or milk of magnesia. These are some of the example which remains suspended in the water without getting dissolved in it. And these particles or these mixture is known as a suspension. Now we can understand the property of suspension with the help of this activity. If suppose you dissolve a chalk powder with water, or you can take an example of a mud. When you dissolve a mud in that of the water, the particle of the mud is distributed evenly in the water. It will remain distributed in the water properly. But after some time, if you keep it left undisturbed for some time, then you find that the particles of this solution, they settle under the water due to the influence of gravity. So you can say that the particle, they remain suspended in the water, throughout the water, without dissolving in it. And that's why when you keep it left undisturbed for some time, then it will get settled down at the bottom of the beaker. So the first one was that we can see the fine particle of this muddy water. Okay, so the particles of the suspension, From this we come to the conclusion of the first property of a suspension, that the particle of the suspension can be seen with the help of the naked eyes also. Okay. The second one is the particles of this solution, they settle down water due to the influence of the gravity. So we can say that these particles, they, after keeping it left undisturbed for some time, the particles, they settle down at the bottom of the beaker. So this is the second point. Third one is that if suppose you take this muddy water and try to filter it with the help of a filter paper, then what did you observe? You will observe that muddy water or that mud or sand, whatever you had taken, it will get separated, or it will be left behind as a residue on the filter paper, while that of the water, clear water, is obtained as a filtrate. So if suppose you take this muddy water and try to filter it with the help of a glass rod, which will help it to stir it properly, so you will say that the clean water will get separated, but while that of the mud, while that of the sand will remain present as a residue on the filter paper. So it can be separated by the process of filtration, and this is the third property of a suspension. Then the next one is the solid particles scatter light and a path of a light is visible. So basically, if suppose that if you give a beam of a light through that of the muddy water, or through that of a chalk and a water suspension, then you find that the particles, they scatter the beam of a light and making the path visible inside it. Okay, so this is the fourth property of the suspension, in which the particle of the suspension, they are having the ability to reflect the light which is coming to it, and hence causes the path visible inside to that of the solution. Okay. So by these points we can conclude the properties of a suspension. And what are the different properties of the suspension here? First one is, it is heterogeneous in a mixture. Yes. Now see here, they are having the particles which the substance which you are adding in the water, like that of the chalk powder, it get evenly distributed, but it does not get properly dissolved in it, and due to which there is a boundary by which you are able to distinguish between the two type of a component of that solution. Okay, that's why it is a heterogeneous mixture. Second one, the particles can be seen by the naked eyes. So the size of the solute particles which is present in the suspension, they are large, and that is equals to 100 nanometer. Remember that of the true solution, the size of the particle was 1 nanometer only. Here the size of the particle is 100 nanometer. So by this you are able to understand that the particles are quite large, and due to which it can be seen by the naked eye. The solute particle, it can be separated by filtration. As the particles, they are large. Okay, so if you try to filter that suspension with the help of the filter paper, you will find that suspension can be separated by the filtration. It means the clear water will come as a filtrate, while that of the chalk powder, or that of the mud or sand, it will remain as a residue on the filter paper. Next one is the solute particles settle down and the solution is unstable. So you see here the suspension, they are unstable. Unstable how? When you keep it left undisturbed for some time, then you find the particles which are continuously moving around it, it will after some time, it will get settled down. Okay, so settling of the particle will occur in that of suspension. Then particle scattered a beam of light passing through it and the path of light is visible in the solution. So when you scatter, when you give a beam of light through that of the suspension, chalk and a water suspension, then you will find that the particles, they form a path that is visible to us, or they can give a path of a light that is visible in the solution. So why does it occur? It is basically occur due to the size of the particle. You see, the size of the particle is comparatively higher than that of the size of the solution, and due to which when you give a beam of a light to it, the particles, they reflect the light properly, and as they reflect the light properly, these particles will able to make due to which the path is visible in that of the solution. So it is due to the size of the particle. So these are the different properties of suspension.